Today on Dr. Phil. Two women going to extremes. One can't control her jealousy.
You accuse him of cheating daily, right?
Yes.
You call him to check on him how many times a day?
At least 20.
You fear he's going to leave you?
I can't stop.
The other, a soccer mom in the escort business.
Are you a prostitute?
No, I have sex and I get gifts.
You really want to spend time telling me that you're an escort for gifts? What, will they give you a blender? Let's do it. If we're going to do something here that matters, then we got to deal with the truth.
Have a good show, everybody. Here we go.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready for you. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Lisa says that her fellow PTA and soccer moms would be shocked at the double life that she's leading as an escort.
I am a typical soccer mom. I have 2 children, the ages of 8 and 10. I am a great mom. I volunteer at the school, PTA, the Cub Scouts, but I lead a secret life as an escort at night. I do enjoy being an escort because I have a high sex drive and I enjoy being pampered. This was a gift from a client. I get a lot of gifts of lingerie. These are the stockings that go with that. I was in the corporate world for 25 years. I was laid off from my job. I had recently gotten a divorce. I decided to start to look into the escort business because it's kind of always been a fantasy of mine. My clients are doctors, CEOs, lawyers, businessmen. In the past 4 years, I've probably made at least $400,000. I can make $3,000 in a week and only work 6 or 8 hours that week. I've probably seen a little over 1,000 clients. Being an escort allows me to spend much more time with my children. I don't feel like my children have been deeply affected in any way at this point. I have my life with my children, and I have my life as an escort, and that's the 2 worlds that I'm trying to balance. I'm led back into this business because I have to pay my bills.
It may seem like Lisa is ready to be honest about her escort lifestyle, but she has a best friend that knows the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey used to say. That's Jennifer, and she says there are just a few important details that Lisa just chose to leave out.
Whether Lisa likes it or not, I'm here to tell her the truth. I worry a lot about her being arrested for being a prostitute. She's never disgusted by her behavior. She has no problem telling me or someone else that she's had 3 different people that she's met that day. She never says, I feel dirty. She does not have safe sex with all of her clients. She doesn't know who these men are. They could be crazy. They could be interested in hurting or killing somebody. This lifestyle puts her children in a great deal of danger. She does not tell me how much she drinks. She has a serious drinking problem. If she doesn't get out of this, she's going to end up arrested. She's going to end up just being a worn-out old lady without anything and anybody. And I said that if the show doesn't work, that I wasn't going to have anything to do with her anymore.
Well, we're going to meet Lisa in just a bit, but first, I want to talk to Jennifer, and so you don't feel that Lisa's being completely honest here. I mean, you've added some stuff to the mix.
Absolutely not. She doesn't have a true view of what's happening and how this affects everyone that's in her life. She has absolutely no real concept of how much everybody hurts around her and how much damage she's doing to herself and how much damage this is going to cause for her children in the future.
She thinks for the most part that, you know, this isn't affecting the kids.
She feels like she's about to have a nervous breakdown. I mean, she's been so stressed and so much of a basket case the last year especially, that that's impossible. It's impossible for the kids not to be affected by that. It's not realistic.
Well, does she have any sense of the danger involved here?
She does not have any real concept of that. In fact, she would probably laugh, and she would tell you about her screening process, which involves calling other people who do what she does and check with them to see, you know, is this a safe person or not?
She's divorced.
She's divorced.
Where's her husband in all this?
He does know what she has been doing. I don't know that he knows that she's doing it right now, but I don't know how he couldn't. She does have a job. It's just not, it's one where she's in sales, and so she has a lot of, she pretty much works her own schedule. But he knows she can't make it this way. He's turning his head to it, I think.
Really?
Yes.
Did I wake up in the Twilight Zone today?
I'm telling you.
What's happened to common sense here? Let's just bring her out now. Let's see. You know this one. Mm-hmm. We've been talking about you a little bit. Why'd you want to be here today?
It's been really difficult for me to find a solution of how to get out of this business.
What is your business?
The escort business.
And what does this entail?
You know, I've been in escorting for 4 years, and it's my profession. That's how I've made a living.
He's asking you what escorting is.
Well, I mean, I book appointments with clients.
You a hooker?
No, I don't consider myself a hooker. I don't.
Are you a prostitute?
No.
Do you have sex for money?
I have sex with men, and I get gifts for that.
Oh, come on. Let's not do this.
Really?
Well, okay.
And you really want to spend time telling me that you're an escort for gifts? I mean,
Okay.
is that really what we're here to talk about? What, will they give you a blender?
Okay. Sometimes. I got an egg cooker one time. That was
Okay,
great.
you got an egg cooker
Yeah.
and a blender. Okay, so that's
Yeah.
what we're here for.
Right.
You've gotten $400,000 worth of blenders and egg cookers.
No, of course not.
How many clients have you had in the last 4 years?
I don't know, 1,000 maybe in the last
and
4
how
years.
do they find you?
Through a website.
Okay, they find you through a website, and they meet you somewhere?
Yes, usually.
And,
right.
and what you know about them is that they have a computer. Do you do a criminal background check on them? Do you
don't
do
do
a credit
criminal.
check on them? Do you know if they're married, single, disease-free?
Usually those are definitely questions I ask.
And
yes.
I'm sure they would tell you the truth.
Yes, I know. Okay, but let me ask you this, Dr. Phil. If I was a single mom and I got a babysitter for my kids and I went to the bar and spent some time with my friend and I had maybe a couple of extra drinks of wine that I shouldn't have and met some guy at the bar, wound up going home with him and had sex with him, society would accept that. They would
That's
accept.
promiscuity. That's
Excuse
not
me,
prostitution.
if you did this 1,000 times,
Well, okay, now I get your point there. I get your point.
did you come here to defend it or change it?
I came here to change it.
I don't think so. I really don't. I don't think so. I think you...
Look, if I could find a way to make the transition without having to lose my house, lose my car, lose everything that I have, I would stop and not look back because it is wearing me down.
Well, I would think so. I mean, that's got to be tough. I mean, doesn't it? And you know, she says she doesn't want to lose her house, doesn't want to lose her car, doesn't want to lose her lifestyle. But
I
how
don't
would she
live
feel about
extravagantly.
losing her kids? We're going to talk about that when we come back.
Her children are going to find out. The babysitter told me about the overnights.
I'm tired of trying to hide things.
Things get pretty rough with her because it's hard to keep up this life.
Although Lisa says she's a great mom to her 2 young children, Jennifer says Lisa's children are in danger on a daily basis. Take a look.
I am not a typical escort. I'm a good mom, and my priority is my kids.
Her children are going to find out. I know that her kids have to hear her have telephone conversations with some of these men, and the babysitter told me about the overnights.
I have had 3 clients that have met my children.
Things get pretty rough with her because it's hard to keep up this life.
And I'm tired of lying, and I'm tired of trying to hide things. They're starting to suffer because I'm so stressed out all the time. I don't like them seeing me this way.
She told me that she wanted to tell the children about what she did and share with them all of the positive things that came out of what she did. And I've told her many times that I hope that day never comes.
What do you think about after watching that?
I mean, you know, these are thoughts that I've had for the past year. I mean, it's hearing it is not any different than thinking it. You know, I started to try to get out of this a year ago, and I found myself in this cycle because I couldn't find a job.
Why did you try to get out of it?
Because it's time for me to not be in this anymore, not be in this world. And I never thought that I was going to be in this world for this long. It's a hard business.
Yeah.
And
you said it's a perfect profession because you have a high sex drive, which according to you isn't relevant because you're just an escort, but you said that, then you say it's really wearing you out. So, I mean, you're all over the chart here. You say this is wearing on you. How much are you drinking?
There are times when I will drink probably a bottle of wine a day, and that depends on how many clients I have to see that day. Sometimes I have to drink to get through the session because I know that my mind is not in it, and I just have to get through it.
Is it offensive to you to do it sometimes?
Sometimes, yes.
And what do you charge, by the way?
Well, that's changed recently, but on the average over the past 4 years, it was $280 an hour, $320 an hour, and then I have 4 hours, for $900, or overnights for $1,200 or $2,000, depends.
And so that's added up to like $400,000.
Well, I mean, I have, weekend, packages. So if I go out of town and my client flies me out of town, it might be a $6,000 gig.
The fact that you tried to defend it and spin it and describe it in less offensive ways, you don't like it either?
Not the majority of it, no, I don't.
But you like the money?
Well,
That's what you're saying.
I survive with the money, yes.
And so what you want to know is how you transition where you don't lose everything. I think life is about priorities. And if the cost of having that stuff is your dignity, your self-worth, your self-esteem, there is not a pile of bricks and mortar or sheet metal paint and tires that makes that worth it. So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Let me finish my thought, then I'll let you respond. I would rather you and your children live in a one-bedroom government-subsidized apartment and you have a legitimate occupation, look them in the eye and be proud of who you are and what you do, than have you live in a much nicer house with a much nicer car and be doing what you're doing. It isn't even a close call. I'm sorry, it just isn't. You have decided that your worth is tied up in what kind of house you have and what kind of car you have and what kind of money you can spend on your children, and that's not what it's about. Do you ever bring these clients home?
No, absolutely not.
Have any of these clients, as you call them, we call them Johns, you call them clients, have they ever met your children? Have any of them ever met your children?
The only clients that have met my children are ones that I've had a relationship with.
There's no story you can tell me that is going to make me say, well, given that set of facts, what you're doing makes common sense. Because I'm sorry, Lisa, it just doesn't. It just doesn't. It's not worth it. It's not worth it for you. It's not worth it for your children. And it's taking a huge toll on you. You see it, right?
I see it.
What do you see?
She's, I hate to say, but I mean, I can look at you and see how the toll that it's taken on you in the last few years. I mean, in looks and the drinking. It's exhausting and it's scary.
I think it's going to be scary to have to go through the process of selling everything I have and losing my house.
Does your husband know what you're doing?
Ex-husband?
Yeah.
Yes.
And has he served you with papers
Yes,
to
he
modify
has.
custody?
A couple years ago.
So these children are in play. If he decided to push on this, you realize you're extremely vulnerable.
I understand that.
So
and that's why I'm here,
this
too.
stability that you're talking about is a myth. That is deranged thinking. You're trying to make sense out of nonsense. It is nonsensical to say that it is a reasonable parental strategy to do what you're doing and justify it by saying, I have a stable home and a safe car for my children to ride in and enough money to buy them clothes and do this and that. There are a lot of people here that have a much lower standard of living than you're currently enjoying because they won't do what you're doing, and their children are just fine.
I understand that. My clients treat me very well.
They don't treat you well, they pay you to perform services. I think that you are delusional in your thinking about this. I think it is taking a toll on you. I think you are medicating yourself with alcohol. That's further blurring your perceptions. You have lost all sense of self-worth and self-esteem.
I don't believe that.
I know you don't believe it because you measure it based on being desired. You measure it because people are willing to pay to be with you. You go, you know, hey, listen, I have things to offer here. I have things to offer because I'm successful at this. That is not true success here. And I know you disagree, but I don't back off what I'm saying. Your self-worth and self-esteem has got to be that big or you wouldn't do this to yourself.
Okay, well, let me tell you something, though. I have been out with men on dating websites, right? Looking for the right person, right? And it had nothing to do with this business. Those guys treat me like crap, okay? And they don't even know what I do, okay? They pretend that, you know, they're going to do this and that and that and this, and then in the end, I just feel like a piece of crap, okay? Did I get anything from it? No, absolutely nothing except a heartbreak. Now, my clients treat me very well. And, okay, I know you
They don't treat you
understand
well.
that.
They pay you to perform services.
But look, no.
Then why don't any of them stay? Why don't any of them say, stop seeing all these other people? If they're such wonderful, kind guys, why don't they take you away from all of this?
Well, because the business is what it is, because there's a lot of unhappy marriages out there. I mean, you know, it's true.
So what do you think she needs to do, friend? And I'm going to tell you what I think, and then we're going to stop this merry-go-round.
I think that she needs to work 2 jobs if that's what she needs to do, and if she needs a 3rd job, she needs to go get it.
And I'm going to have to find someone to take care of my kids, and I'm not going to have the money to pay anyone to take care of my kids.
Well, you won't have to worry about finding someone to take care of your kids if you keep this up, because you won't have them.
Well, I know, but that's fine. I understand that point.
Look, you're setting this up like you're between a rock and a hard place, and I'm sorry, that's just a false crisis. What you're saying is you would have less money to be a mother with. I get it. Get a job. If you need to, get 2 jobs.
I did get a job.
Okay, and then live at a lower standard of living as far as material things and a much higher standard of living in terms of your mental, emotional, spiritual, physical presence with these children. You need help to transition out of this. And I'm going to tell you what I want to do. I want to get you a hand-picked therapist, female therapist, that I don't mean because of that, because
Good thinking, though.
I want her to be able to speak to you as a woman and as a mother. And we will make those arrangements for you, and we will set that up. You don't need to spend any of your $400,000 on that. We will do that, okay? I want you to give me a couple of months with this person.
Okay, I'll do that.
Okay? I want you to do it. And then challenge her in every way that you can, all right?
Okay.
We'll be right back.
My wife, Becky, is insanely jealous.
I'm checking David's phone records this morning to see who he's called. You call me all day, and then when you get to your room, I don't hear a word out of you.
I've accused him of sleeping with secretaries, waitresses, co-workers, friends.
I'm ready to walk away.
Today we're talking about people that are going to extremes. Now, Becky wrote to me because she says she is extremely jealous of her husband, Dave, and constantly suspects he's cheating on her. Now, Dave says after years of reassuring his wife that he just can't take these outrageous allegations any longer. Take a look.
My wife, Becky, is insanely jealous. She asks me questions every minute of the day, what I've done, who I go with, what am I doing.
I am consumed in trying to catch him cheating on me. I check his wallet, I check his text messages, I call him on the phone. I want to know what time he got off work, where he ate, who he ate with. I call my husband at least 20 times a day.
I'm checking David's phone records this morning to see who he's called. I'm going to call this phone number. I just want to see if it's a man or a woman. Okay, so it was a guy.
I've accused him of sleeping with secretaries, waitresses, co-workers, friends, hotel clerks, convenience store workers.
And then at 6:58 a.m. this morning, he talked to somebody for 9 minutes, and I don't know who that is at all.
If I think he's on the phone for too long with somebody, I question him on what they talked about.
I'm definitely going to be calling David and finding out who it is. Hey. Who did you call this morning at 6:58 a.m. and talk to for 9 minutes? I don't think I called anybody.
Once I was at the hardware store, she was convinced that I was meeting up with women there, so she shows up and gets violent. She kicked me, she scratched my back.
I've even thrown out all his things out the door and told him to go.
One time I didn't call her during lunch, and she accused me of going to lunch with the ladies in the office.
I was so mad that I ran into the back of his car.
I'm very frustrated. I've never cheated on my wife.
I've never caught Dave doing anything wrong. Dave has gone above and beyond to prove to me that he's not cheating on me. It doesn't matter. I just cannot control myself.
It's affected our marriage to the point where I just don't care anymore.
I fear that he will go find somebody else because he's so done.
I'm ready to walk away.
Why are you putting up with this? Are you cheating on her?
No.
Have you cheated on her?
No.
Are you currently cheating on her?
No.
Do you have any plans to cheat on her?
No.
Why are you willing to subject yourself to this kind of harassment from this woman?
Well, for one, I love my wife. For two, it's not like that all the time. I mean, it's gotten way worse in the past couple of years, you know, than it has been. It's that I know a lot of her past history with her, you know, her family members and past relationships she's had. And I just figured over time it would, you know, get better. And I used to reassure all the time that I wasn't doing anything wrong. And now I just got to the point where it's like, whatever.
Well, let's talk about your behavior. You accuse him of cheating daily, right?
Daily.
It is a pretty daily ritual.
Yes.
You call him to check on him how many times a day?
At least 20.
20 times a day you're calling him?
Yes.
You check his phone records daily?
Daily.
If you see a phone number you don't recognize, you call it and see who it is.
I block my number and I call it to see if it's a man or a woman.
And if it's a man...
I hang up.
You hang up. If it's a woman?
I've never had that happen yet.
Wow. You flip out if he looks in the direction of another woman?
Yes.
You only, so much so, you only go out on a date in another town so he doesn't see somebody in your town that he might be attracted to and track down later?
Yes. I don't want to go out in our own town.
Because you think he might see a waitress or somebody walking down the street or a license plate or something?
I feel that he'll see somebody that's prettier than me.
And never have you found any evidence of him doing this at all?
Never.
But you are so sensitized to it in the absence of any evidence whatsoever that you won't even go out in the same town in which you live.
No, I won't.
You've driven hours to check on him.
Yes, here.
To knock on his hotel room door, because you travel some.
I work out of town quite
Yeah, and so you show up and knock on that hotel room door, don't you?
Yeah, he's gone 5 days a week, and I'll show up in the middle of the week. I'll drive 3-4 hours and knock on his door.
I am on my way to Washington, which is 3 hours away where Dave is staying. I am so mad right now that I could scream. He calls me, and he calls me, and he calls me, and he calls me. As soon as he gets off work, I don't hear a word from him. So I guess he's with her. We found the hotel. I'm really, really sick to my stomach. Because if he's had somebody up here, I will just die.
Well, Becky is so extremely jealous. She says she will do anything, including driving, to check up on Dave. Even make her 6-year-old go on a road trip with her in the middle of the night. Take a look.
I am on my way to Washington, which is 3 hours away where Dave is staying, because I called him on the phone and asked what hotel he was staying in, and he told me he didn't know. So I am very, very angry. Are you really going to tell me that you don't know what the hotel's called?
I think it's called Embassy Suites.
You mean to tell me that you have been staying there for 2 weeks and you think its name is the Embassy Suites? And what's the room number you're staying in?
323.
Where are you at?
I'm in my room. Where are we at?
I'm at home. You call me all day, and then when you get to your room, I don't hear a word out of you.
I've been here 45 minutes.
I am so mad right now that I could scream. He calls me, and he calls me, and he calls me, and he calls me. As soon as he gets off work, I don't hear a word from him. So I guess he's with her. We found the hotel, and there is his truck. I'm really, really sick to my stomach, because if he's had somebody up here, I will just die. Okay, we are here at his hotel room. He's probably hiding here somewhere.
Hello.
You couldn't call me?
You told me I did call you.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
You told me you were ordering supper, and that's the last I heard from you.
Yeah, but I was going to call you.
What have you been doing?
Sleeping?
Is she in here?
I will look.
Why couldn't you call me?
I thought you were busy.
Hi, Daddy.
She drove 4 hours,
wasting gas, come down here to check up on me. It's just ridiculous.
Now, tell me you didn't drag one of my producers 6 hours. This was a friend taping this, right?
Yes.
So y'all just made a little docudrama road trip.
Yes.
And you didn't do this for us. You've done this like 5 times. You've made these road trips.
I've done this many times, yes.
Many times. This is just one of many.
Right.
So what'd you find in that room there?
Just him. Nobody else.
Just him.
Yes.
And you had the audacity to be sleeping
Yes.
in the middle of the night,
Yeah.
alone.
Alone.
And you even accuse him of freshening up for women if he takes a shower before he goes to work.
Yes, because when he's home, the 48 hours that he's home with us a week, he lays around on the couch. He doesn't do anything to himself. And then when he's going to work, he'll go in and get a shower and shave.
Yeah. That's called relaxing.
I can't stop. I can't stop. I've had family members that I've watched cheat my whole life. I've had other men cheat on me. And I was born with a cleft palate, so I'm very insecure about my looks, and I constantly think that he's gonna find someone better looking than me.
I'm not much to look at either, babe. I'm about 40 pounds overweight and out of shape.
But I'm very, very insecure, and I just constantly think that he's out cheating on me, and I can't control it, and I don't know why.
Do you recognize that it's something you need to change?
Yes.
Okay, all right. This jealousy is not only taking its toll on Becky and Dave, it's affecting the entire family. You're going to find out how when we come back.
We argue in front of the kids all the time.
My oldest son takes Dave's side. The daughter takes my side. My youngest son is having anger issues because we argue all the time.
He's even got in trouble in school for acting out. I don't want the kids growing up thinking this is the way marriage should be.
If we don't get help, I feel that we will be getting a divorce. When Dave gets up to go to work in the morning and he showers and shaves, I assume that he's going to meet a woman.
I've never given her a reason not to trust me. In her mind, I'm always having an affair.
You guys fight in front of the children about this, right? You fight in front of your 6-year-old.
Yes, and that's one thing I want to learn how to control it, because I don't want the legacy to keep going on to my children from, I think I'm the way I am because of past family members.
This is affecting more than just you.
Absolutely.
I don't want you to be unkind, but there is a point that you need to say, this is going to stop. And it begins with some behaviors such as when she calls you 20 times a day, don't you answer that phone one time. She needs to learn to wait for you to call her. Now, you say... All right, why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
You know how much trouble I'm getting when I get home?
Well, I'm going to get to her in a minute. But what I'm saying to you, when you do that, you enable her. When you answer 20 times, say, yes, I'm here. Yes, I'm alone. There's nobody panting in the background or anything. You're giving her that reassurance, that fix that she's addicted to. And you have to stop doing that. And you have to make a decision. You have to decide that, you say you were born with a cleft lip and palate, and you've had operations for that, right?
20.
20 operations for it, which have gone famously, by the way. I mean, you look terrific. I just, it's easy for somebody to say that doesn't have it, but you look terrific. Well, yeah, he thinks you're hot. And I understand that body image and self-image go together, sometimes. And when your self-image is down, then you're saying, he must be finding somebody else because why would he want me, right? Why would he want me?
Thank you.
And you understand that's an issue with you, not him?
Yes.
You're saying, I am not lovable.
Right.
I am not worthy of his love, and therefore I've got to cling to it. I've got to trap him and make him, so I got to keep him on a short leash, because if I ever let him raise his head up and see somebody that doesn't look like me, he's gonzo.
Yeah, and he tells me all the time that if he wanted to be married and tied on a chain, he would have, how do you put that?
I wanted to be on a leash, I'd have got a dog.
Yeah. And, you know, there's an old saying, what I fear, I create.
Yes.
And that's a very profound sentiment. What you fear is that he's going to leave you, and as a result, you are creating that very thing. You are driving him away as much as if when you opened the door, you went at him with a sharp stick.
I don't feel that I'm good enough for him.
Yeah. Okay, but you get then that that's your issue, not his.
Right.
That's not his issue, that's your issue.
It's totally my
and
issue.
You have to fix that, or you will never fix this.
Right. And that's the part I don't know how to do.
Okay, well, I'm getting to that. But do you get what I'm saying here? And what you have to do is stop helping her continue this distortion. You got to quit giving her these fixes. You say, I'm going to catch hell when I get home. Not necessarily, because we're going to do some things with her. Isn't jealousy at one level kind of flattering?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's got, I mean, don't y'all agree if you got somebody that they're just really love you and they're just so like that, and calling you, are you thinking about me and all that?
And that's something I think I missed from him.
Yeah, I bet. You know, how can he call you? I mean, he's always answering the phone.
Right.
If he's talked to you 17 times today, why in God's green earth would he call you to see what's going on?
Right.
Or call to say hello, or call to hear your voice, or whatever. He's heard your voice every 6 minutes the entire day.
I know.
You know?
You're right.
It's interesting, if you stop chasing him, he just might come to you. Wouldn't it be nice, instead of 20 annoying fingernails on a chalkboard, screechy, accusatory calls from you to him, you got a couple of days saying, hey, what's going on?
Yes.
How's your day? Just thought I'd call and say hi. You know, wouldn't that be worth more than those 20 reassurances you got?
Yes.
But you got to be willing to take the chance. And what I'm telling you is, you know, maybe this was kind of cute for 15 minutes or something in the beginning,
Right.
but then it got really ugly and really obtrusive. And you've got to understand that you have to stop this reassurance while we do some things over here with her. You said, I've about had it. Give me 90 days. Give me 90 days to work on some things with you, because you need to learn to accept yourself.
Okay.
You are very self-critical. You think because you were born with this problem that you're unattractive.
Right.
But there are so many things about you that you ignore, that he doesn't ignore, that he loves about you very much. If you would have heard him describing you to our producers and talking about you and why y'all got married and what kind of mom you are and all these different things, aside from all of this, you'd be really proud. You'd be really proud. And you seem hell-bent on screwing that up. But I tell you that what I want to do...
You're right.
What I want to do is I want to focus on you and your self-image and self-acceptance.
I would love that.
If this bothers you, there are things you can do about that you haven't done, if you want. In fact, I've had all of your pictures looked at and evaluated by Dr. Drew Orden. He's one of the leading plastic surgeons in Beverly Hills. He's one of the hosts of The Doctors.
Yes.
And he would love to sit down and talk with you a little bit about some things that you might get very excited about.
I would love that.
And so I've made arrangements for Dr. Orden to sit down and talk with you. But there are some things you need to get at peace with yourself about, and I want to get you some help to focus on exactly how to do that. I've got some things I want you to read. I've got some things I want you to do with a professional therapist that focuses on these body image issues for women.
I would love
And
that.
I'm going to make that arrangement for you in your hometown.
Thank you.
Okay? There's only one you,
Right.
and that's who he chose. Isn't it time for you to choose her too?
Yeah.
He chose her. Now you choose. We'll be right back. Well, we've been talking about extreme behaviors today, and listen, anything that you are wondering, is it normal or is it not, ask yourself this. If some behavior you're doing is interfering with your regular functioning, interfering with your job, your relationships, your peace of mind, your health, then that's not normal. If it is interfering, then you got to say, look, I want to do something to change this. It has to be labeled as change-worthy behavior. In your situation, this is change-worthy behavior because it's interfering, right?
Yes.
It's interfering with your marriage, it's interfering with your peace of mind, it's interfering with your child's upbringing. So that means it's not normal behavior. So based on that definition, it becomes change-worthy.
Right.
And that's what we're going to work on. And at home, if you're wondering, is this just a harmless quirk or is this just not normal? Ask yourself if it's interfering. And if it is, then put it on your to-do list. You can go to drphil.com. I'm going to have some steps there to follow. I appreciate you all being here today. Thanks so much.